here at pressure-free.com. I say that a lot. I used to say, hello, no, what did I say? This is a symphony, Pamela speaking. I worked for a symphony for a long time, and then my husband and I founded a music school that is now 30 years old. I did not celebrate the day. February 14, 1996 is when we taught the first lessons at that school. Uh, and when I was watching the Olympics last night, I remembered a time when a mother who had just moved to town, their family had just moved to town, brought her daughter, a very talented little violinist, to the music school and was very anxious about getting the right teacher for her. So she's placed with me, and they came into the studio for the first lesson. And the first thing the mother said was, I want my daughter to love playing violin again. That gave me two clues. Number one, she hated playing violin now, and her mother wanted to turn that around. And the second clue was that at some point she did enjoy playing her instrument. So that statement told me a lot right there. So I started working with her daughter, and I'm happy to announce that within a couple lessons, she started to fall back in love with her violin. But it was definitely a bit of a challenge for me because I couldn't make any promises. I can't make any promises in pressure free. Like I can share ideas, I can share these concepts, but it's really up to the person and what they're going to experience and what they're going to feel. So with this particular student, she's very talented, and what I would do is create little duets. I'd actually on the spot improvise little duets. So like as she played a piece, I would play something with her. Um, I made different games out of learning how to play perfectly in tune, just these little things that sparked her. So I was looking for ways to spark her. And it was a wonderful turnaround. I was very sad when they moved again. Father was an eye doctor, and he was just kind of hopping to different positions around the country. Um, but just so much fun to find the delight in everything again. That's what we saw last night. If you watched the Olympics with Alyssa Liu, she she left skating for a long time, and she came back because she actually loves it, and she found the delight again. So sometimes let me put it this way, I'm going to go directly to experiences. So many times I'm working with a student, and typically a student athlete or a student performer who really is struggling with performing in their sport or liking it. The fun has all been stripped out. They're just working so hard. So I wanted to explore this morning what is causing all this pressure. See it in the Olympics, like all the various pressures. Some people will say, oh, well, it's the parents. The parents are putting a lot of pressure. But I've worked with student athletes that the parents aren't putting any pressure. It's very self-directed. They're putting the pressure on themselves. Sometimes it's pressure from coaches. Um, it also can be pressure from this thing right here that they see other people doing what they want to be able to do and feel they're falling short. Um, there's the pressure to be perfect. So most of my clients, both adults and students, have a perfectionist streak. It's probably because I do too. And you want to get it perfect. You want to do it so well. Um, One of the divers I've worked with, she dives for college now, and she's headed to nationals, and boy, she's really perfecting that dive. I just saw a clip of it. So all of this perfection, how can we move perfection, move the ideas of that of trying to be perfect and trying to how can we move that so that the pressure is not affecting us? That is really what pressure free is about. Um, it's not so much that we're feeling this challenge, but in every single little moment, can we prevent the release of the stress hormones? That's the key to pressure free. When you do that, your brain is going to feel different. You're not going to feel so tense and tight. So a lot of the performance that we see falling flat in the Olympics, it's tension. The moment there's a fear, the moment they've released those hormones, the body tenses up. We're just trying to protect everything. We're trying to protect every part of our being. So there will be this tension. Um, so with that in mind, the real key is starting to open up to, okay, there are things we can do that will provide less tension for us. So, for example, I'm working with a client right now, and she's taking a step back from being as highly competitive as she was before, and that's making it fun again. So maybe she'll step back into bigger competition um, in the future because she's now got tools to have her stay in a really free and open way of being. That's what we saw with Alyssa Liu last night. She's just like free and open on the ice. She's not trying to prove anything to anyone. And that's another thing that I think we do sometimes. I remember having these thoughts, especially when I was young, like um, having to prove to people that I was good enough. And you might feel that in the workplace. You might feel like you're trying to prove that you deserve the promotion or prove that you deserve a higher salary for the job you're even doing right now. There's something going on where you feel that you're under the gun to prove yourself. So that's another pressure that can be on us. One of the I don't really call it a tool, but one of the things I share with my clients is that at the deepest level, the only proving we need to do is to ourselves and whatever is in our faith foundation. I said that the other day too, but I find it to be really true. So being in alignment with with what is important to us and what we care about, and then does that align with what with our beliefs and our values? So are we in alignment? That can really release some of the pressure and tension, um, and allow things to open up. When we have tension, it's very, very hard to achieve the things that we want in life. It's very hard. And so looking at noticing what is really causing those tensions. Is it our own thought? In many cases with the athletes I coach, with the performers I coach, it's their own thought. It's nothing their parents are saying to them. Like I look back and I say, I come from a high performing family. We were all musicians, we were all athletes, we were all um I was in so many clubs. It's crazy. I look back and it's like, how did I do all that? How did I do what I did in college? I have no idea. My parents certainly weren't putting the pressure on me to do two masters at the same time. That was my own thought. That was my own idea. Um, I love a challenge. And maybe if you're watching this, you align with that. Like you want to be challenged, you want to do more. But if we do more and we're under the influence of these hormones, that's when we become ill, both mentally and physically. We're not well. Um, I think it's interesting too. We use the word mental health a lot. Um, Sometimes I think it's just a little switch to how can we have more fun? Sometimes we have to do things that we don't really like to do, like cleaning the bathroom or slogging through reports. I'm really good at numbers, but I really dislike having to spend a lot of time, more than an hour, working on numbers and statements and things. But I'm really good at that. I can read a financial statement really quickly. So it's a gift, but I don't really like to do it. So I will purposefully set myself up for a win. I'll actually put on Baroque music, Gimignani or Corelli. For some reason, those two composers, maybe a little Scarlatti, um, they're so mathematical in their creations. And I'll sit there and I'll just be working along. It's the only music I can listen to when doing some kind of work. Some people think as a musician I have music going on. I do not have music going on very often at all. Um, so so setting yourself up for a win, timing is a thing. Sometimes I think we're putting ourselves through too much time commitment on certain things, like a young athlete spending 7 hours a week or 7 hours a day in the gym, like all these two-a-days and all this. And I mean, taking a look at what the human body ultimately can do efficiently to become better, I think is a better approach. And you can get so much out of your body when you're truly in the practice and really absorbing and crafting it rather than just going through another iteration of it with no real crafting. So time, how much time are you spending on certain things? Um, Time blocking was a word I never knew until I became an entrepreneur. I was doing it, but I just didn't know it as a thing. And that's because I control my calendar. So you'll see if you open up my calendar, you'll see certain time blocks when I'm working with clients or meeting with people. So those I put that, in my calendar. These are my time blocks for this. These are my time blocks for working on writing, working on content creation. What are my time blocks doing? And one of the tools that I teach is identifying how you want to feel while you're doing that particular thing. So, for example, if you have a big meeting coming up and you're feeling a little worry about it, every time it comes in your head, you're assuming success for it. What is a word that comes up for how you want to feel while you're in the meeting? Maybe it's just a simple word like fantastic. Then in your calendar, put that word next to that time block of that meeting. So your intention is that no matter what's going on in that meeting, you're actually feeling great. You're not walking to the meeting scared or annoyed that you have to go to another meeting or anything like that. You're actually bringing your best self to the meeting, and you're deciding how you're feeling. This idea of intention about how you want to feel is so, so powerful in turning around, especially some of the activities that we don't really like doing. So that's been a great tool to help people. Um, so I'm going to go back to the lesson that I shared at the beginning. So I had this young violinist whose mother wanted to have fun again, to enjoy and love. She actually used the word love. I want her to love playing violin again. I asked the empowering question, how can I help this girl love playing her violin again? All these interesting ideas came up in me to run through her and experiment with her. And it was so fun to watch how they evolved and how it came to be that she fell back in love with her violin because it was such a fun lesson. It was such an enjoyable time. So I was time blocking that lesson and being very specific about how I was going to show up, how I was going to feel. I could have felt extremely nervous that we might lose this client if I can't help turn this girl around. Same thing in the business world. You might lose that client because you're not serving them in the way that they wish to be served. So, hope this is helpful, but putting the fun back in, finding fulfillment in the small things. Sometimes we can't change our circumstances. We're stuck in a job for a while. I remember my husband saying, it's not so much what you do, it's how you are while you're doing it. Like, how do you want to be? Doesn't matter what the job is. If you're pushing a broom or a server at a restaurant, I always give really big tips, even if the service isn't good, because I want that to turn around for that server, because I've been there. You have no idea what would be happening in the kitchen, or you had some rude clients, or it just goes on and on what can happen. And so I always give a really big tip to hopefully like turn that energy around. The energy precedes. I'm working with a wonderful coach right now, Susan Gluzica. It's like we're talking about the energy precedes. It's so true. How do you want to show up? How do you want to show up in every meeting, in every personal situation? Putting a word next to the time block is one of the fastest ways I know. And I do it pen to paper. You can do it in your phone too. You can tippy tap, you can do it on your computer, but there's something about writing it too. So even on a sticky note, you could just grab a sticky note and say, okay, accounting meeting at 4. Fantastic. Put it right on your computer. If that's your toughest time block of the day, turn it around. You get to decide how you feel. Why are we letting everything else decide how we feel? And that's the same way when we're striving for perfection or it's getting hard for us. Like we get to decide how we feel as we approach anything, any meeting, any practice, any dinner. with someone. So I hope this is helpful. I hope you have a great pressure-free day.